Welcome everyone. Now in this video, we are going to continue with the remaining primitive data types that we have left. We will also talk about another different data type known as string. And we will also do a couple more practices on the primitive data types and the strings. Okay, so far we have talked about those numerical primitives, those 6 numerical primitives. 4 of them are for the integer values, 2 of them are for the floating point values. For the integers, we could use byte, short, int, long, and for the floating point values, we could use float and double. But make sure that you do know the range of values from largest to the smallest. And when it comes to the integer values, the primitive type is int. Every time when you enter integer, by default, it's taken as an int. Okay. And when it comes to the floating point values, double is the preferred primitive type. Next primitive types that we have are char and boolean. Okay, so let's talk about those remaining primitive data types. First of all, the boolean. This boolean is a data type that represents the concept of true or false. So anything that can be evaluated true or false can be stored into the boolean variable. Okay, so every time when you create a expression that is either true or false, you could use this boolean as the data type of your variable. Okay, such as is married. If it's true, that means the person is married. Otherwise, the person is not married. And such as is door open, is employed, is passed, pass or fail, yes or no. For those type of scenarios, we could use this boolean variables. And also in the near future, we will be using this boolean expression a lot when it comes to the conditional statements. But as for now, just make sure you know how to use the boolean data type to create your variable and store the true or false expressions. Okay, so for example, please create a new class under this package, name it boolean variable. Okay, let me create the main method. After this main method, let's create our first boolean variable. So anything that can be evaluated to true or false can be the boolean expression, right? Such as is married. So I can use this boolean data type for the variable is married. Okay. And for this variable, now I cannot assign either true or false. I cannot assign anything else. Okay. If it's true, that means this expression is true. Okay, it means the person is married. Otherwise, if it is false, means that the person is not married. Okay, so you could also print this variable now, is married. You see, it printed false. And I could also create boolean variable like is employed. Okay, and then I could assign the boolean expressions like true. Okay, you see, it printed true now. So every time whenever we have the expression that can be evaluated to true false, then we could use the boolean variable to store that expression. That's what boolean data type is for. And we will also talk more about the boolean data type when it comes to the conditional statements. And the next primitive data type, the last primitive data type that we have left is char. So this char, it is used for to store the characters, but it can only store one single character at a time. You cannot give more than one character when you use char as the data type. You could only give one single character only. And when you assign the characters to the char variable, you could use the single quote. Okay, the character, if you want to store the character itself to the variable, you could use the single quote and then give the character within the single quote. Okay, and the char, it can also be described in the decimal, hexadecimal, and UTF-16 format, which is known as the Unicode. Because if you look at the ASCII table, every single character has those values: decimal values, hexadecimal, and Unicode. Okay. And the char, it can store the Unicode values from 0 to 65,535. meaning that there are this many of characters that this char data type supports. Okay, here is an example. If you look at here, we have created 4 char variables and we store this uppercase A, okay, which will give us the character uppercase A. And we can also get the character uppercase A by using its decimal number, which is 65. If you look at the ASCII table, the A character A, it has the decimal of 65. And you could also use the hexadecimal or the UTF or the Unicode to get the character A if you want. There are multiple ways to get the character. But most of the time in our program, we will be using either the decimal number or just give the character itself. And if it's a very special type of character, then you may use hexadecimal or Unicode to get that character. Okay, so let's create another class for this char variable. Let's declare multiple char variables. Please name your class char variable. And I still need the main method in this class. Let me create my main method. And here I'm going to declare my first char variable, char1, ch1. Okay, I want to store the a, lowercase a character here. This is our lowercase a character. So I could directly assign this lowercase a character to this variable. And if I print this variable now, it is going to get me, you see, lowercase a. And what if I want to get this lowercase a character through different ways? In this case, you would need to go to the ASCII table. Okay, let me open the Google and let me search for the ASCII table first, and search for ASCII table. By default, the first link is the ASCII table. So you see, on the ASCII table, the lowercase character a has the number 97. Decimal number is 97. Okay, so which means this lowercase a character, I could also get it by using the number 97. So suppose that this is my second char variable, and I also need to assign the lowercase a to it. But this time I want to get it by using the decimal number, such as 64. Okay, so now if I run this program, after give the print statement of this char2, if I run the program, you see, it got me this at because 64 was the decimal number of this character, at character, not the lowercase a. So the decimal number of this lowercase a was 97, which means if I need to get the lowercase a, I'm supposed to give the 97 character. Okay, you see, now this is at. This is the a character. And of course, when you use this char, you could assign the other codes such as Unicode. You could also assign some larger numbers to get the specific character, right? Hexadecimals. There are many ways that you can get these specific characters. For example, if I need to use the hexadecimal to get this character a, you see hexadecimal number here is 61. So just like shown in this example, this is how you get the hexadecimal, 0x, and then you will give the hexadecimal number. So I could give 0x61. Okay, and if I print this char variable now, it is going to give me this a character. And if you want, you can also assign some larger numbers to get the different characters that are not on the ASCII table. If you look at the ASCII table, the maximum decimal number is 127, right? But as we stated, char, it supports more than 65,000 types of characters. So which means I could get some character from that has the decimal number of 45,000. I could assign the maximum number that I could assign to the char is 65,535. Okay, so let me print this char variable to see what character we have at this character for, which is this character. Okay, so this is char, and when you assign the character itself to the char variable, make sure that you use the single quote. Double quote is reserved for the string of text, but the single quote in Java is reserved for the single characters for the char data types. And let's take a look at this example now. In this example, we need to declare a char variable and assign this character as a value and then print it. Okay. So this link, it contains the Unicode, decimal, hexadecimal of all the characters that are available on the ASCII table. So you could use this link to get the character and then find the character, assign the hexadecimal decimals to the char variable afterwards. Okay. So let me do it in the same class. This time I need to assign the character character at to the char variable. Okay. So make sure that I'm still in the main methods body. Let me name this variable x for now. So for this variable x, I need to store this character at, which has the decimal number of 64, right? So I could assign 64 to get the character at. And if I print this variable x, you see, it got me the character at. Or I could also store its hexadecimal number to get this character. The hexadecimal number of this character is 100. So which means I could use a hexadecimal of this character is 40, which means I could give the hexadecimal like this way, 0x40. And if I print this x, it is still going to get me at character, you see? Okay. But again, the most easiest way is since the character is already on your keyboard, right? You could give the character within the single quote here. So you open the single quote and then give this character itself. And when you print this variable x, you will still get the character at. Okay. So this is the first practice task for the char variable. And next, the next data type that we have is string. This string, it is not one of the 8 primitive data types. So the 8 primitive data types are byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, and boolean. Okay. This string, it is known as the non-primitive data type. Okay. Because it's also a class. Okay. It's a class that is already built in the JRE system library. So the string, it is a special type of data type. Okay. This string class is a sequence of characters in Java. String represents the sequence of characters. So every time when you have a sequence of characters that you need to give, you can give it as a string in Java. And in order to give them, you have to use the double quote, which is reserved for the string of texts in Java. So for example, you say if I have variable like this that I need to declare, greeting, this variable greeting, and in order to store hello world into this greeting, I will use double quote to start my string of text. Within the double quote, I will give all the characters that I want to include for the string of text. And next time when I call this variable greeting, it is going to give me hello world. Okay. And yes, you can also assign the name of the person. For example, name can be set to wooden spoon, a string of text as wooden spoon, and then store it into the variable name. So let's declare those 2 string variables in IntelliJ to see how we can use this string as the data type. Please create a new class, name it string intro. Okay, here's my class. And I'm going to create the main method because I still need to run this class. And here, let me create the string variable greeting. Since the data type is string, that means you can only store string of text into this variable. Okay. For example, when I try to assign a value to this variable, since it's my first time assigning value, that means it's known as initialization. When I initialize this variable, if I try to give anything that is not a string of text, you see, it will give me compiler error. And what if I give some Boolean variables? True. Still give me compiler error. What if I give a single character? Double quote is for the char variables. You see, it is still giving me compiler error. The data type, it determines what kind of value you can store into this variable. Since I'm using string data type, I must store string values into this variable. Strings are always given within the double quotes. So here is our string, hello world. And if I print this greetings now, it is going to display hello world to the console, you see? And I could also declare other variables. If I have any other string of text that I want the variable to memorize it for me, I could use this string as the data type of the variable. For example, suppose that we do have the school name information. So the school information, I want to store it into this variable because I'm going to use this data later on in my program. Instead of remembering this school name by myself every single time when I use, I will just let this variable to remember it for me. Okay. So if the school name is, for example, MIT. Now, if I call this variable schools after this line 13, it will print me MIT. Okay. So if you want a different school name to be printed on the console, of course, you could also change the name here. From MIT, I could change it to, for example, CYDEO. So if I run the program now, you see, now CYDEO is printed on the console. So this is how you can use this string data type. And another thing that you need to know about the string is the concatenation, okay? So when you have a string or when you have any other variables or values, you could concate them to a string to get the new string out at the end. So this concatenation, it is known as the action of linking things together by using the plus operator, okay? You can use this plus operator to link anything to a string. And to make sure that it is going to give us the concatenation instead of addition, because this operator is also used for addition purpose in Java. To make sure that it's going to give us the concatenation result, we have to make sure that there is a string either on the left or on the right side of this plus operator. Otherwise, if you have two integers, then you will get addition instead of concatenation. Okay. For example, if this is the string that I have, these are the two strings that I have. If I apply this plus operator to those two strings, then I will get the new string. New string can be stored into a variable like after concate, for example. Okay, so when I print this after concate, it's going to display this is converted to one string because those two strings are added. Okay, and yes, you could also add any different data types to a string. If I have an integer, you see here in this print statement, I have string here. And then this string is concatenated concatenated to another string. This number now, it is concatenated to this string. This string is the value is the string of text. And then we added this number. So therefore, it's going to print the value is and the value of that variable, which is 5. Okay, so let's take a look at how we can use this concatenation in our program. Let me separate it here. Let me write the concatenation in the same class. So suppose that here is the name of the person is given as a string. So name is Josh. Okay. So I want you to use this data to print the message on the console that displays my name is Josh. But if the name is James, then it should display James. If the name is Aaron, then it should display Aaron. So which means this string, you need to concate to another string to get the full string out on the console, right? So here's my print statement that can help me to display the message, my name is. Okay. And then next, I need to pass the value of this variable. How can I pass the value of a variable into a string? If you pass the variable name itself, you see, variable name will not be treated as a variable. It will be treated as a string of text. So therefore, it will just print my name is name. That's not what I want. I want to make sure that the value of this variable name is passed here. So to do that, you need to apply this concatenation. So you will use this plus operator outside this double quote, and then you will concate whatever the value that needs to be concatenated to this string of text. So I want this value to be concatenated to this string of text. And this value has been stored into this variable. So therefore, I can just concate this variable which contains this value. So now if I run the program, you see, it printed my name is Josh. But if this name was different name, such as James, this time it is going to concate this James to this string of text. Then it will display my name is James, you see. And here's one more task about the string concatenation. This time we need to write a program that can display the flight ticket information. three variables are given, from, to, and ticket price. Those variables are given. And then by using the concatenation, we need to get this output on the console. We need to print the string of text from, and then the departing city, which is stored into this variable from. So you need to concate this from here. And then we need to concate another string of text not called to. And then we need to concate whatever the value is stored in this variable to, which is the arrival city. Okay. And then we need to concate the string of text like is, dollar, and then the value of this ticket price. Okay. So let's work on this practice task. For this practice task, please create a new class, name it flight ticket. Okay. And in this class, three variables, three informations about the ticket will be given to you, which is the departing city. This it's stored into this variable from. Okay. For example, suppose that it is from Virginia, McLean. And then the destination city, which is Los Angeles. And then the ticket price. For the ticket price, I could use double. Okay, let me name this ticket price. Ticket price. And ticket price I can set to 200 for now. Okay. And then at the end, it should display me the full information of this ticket from this city to this city is this much. Okay. So here's my print statement. So first, on the console, I need to display the string of text from, right? So if I run it, now you see from is displayed on the console, including the space. And then I need to give the city name that the airplane is departing from. The city name of the airplane is departing from is stored into this variable. So this variable can be concatenated to this string of text by using this plus operator from. Okay. So now it's going to give us, you see, from McLean. Next, I need to display the string of text. I need to give a space and then display the string of text to, right? From this city to, and I also need to include a space. If you do not give any of those space, then those spaces will not be displayed on the console. And then I need to concate the destination city, which is to. And then I need to display the price, right? After the destination city, I will display the string of text is. Okay. And then the dollar sign. And then the price of the ticket. How do I pass the price of ticket? Again, it's going to be another concatenation. Okay. See, these strings are concatenated together. It is going to create one string, and then this double will be concatenated to that one string at the end. So now if I run the program, you see I ended up getting from McLean to Los Angeles is $200. Okay. So make sure that you did give those spaces that are needed. If you miss one of them, for example, if I forgot to give this space here, you see, space is not displayed here. Okay. So make sure that you pay attention to every single one of them. So those three variables are embedded into this one sentence now. And the benefit of using the variable here is if I have a different city names will be passed into this print statement. For example, if the departing city is Miami, okay, and arrival city is London, and ticket price is 1,000. So now after updating those information, if I run the program, now you see it printed from Miami to London is $1,000. Okay, so this is string concatenation. Of course, we are also going to do more practices with the string concatenation. But for now, make sure that you know what this plus operator does when you apply it to a string. It can concate any value to a string. As long as you have a string either on the left or right side, then you will get the concatenation result when you use this operator. And the last thing, so make sure that you do know the difference between char and string. Char is for the single letters, and a string is for the sequence of characters. Okay, char is one element and string is set of characters. And for the char you will use single quote, but for the string you will use double quote. And the last thing that we have left to cover is the constants. So far we have talked about those primitive data types, 8 primitive data types, and one of the non-primitive data type known as string. Okay, so if you need to make any of those variables to be constant, to be unchangeable, then there is a special keyword that you can use to make them unchangeable. The special keyword is known as the final keyword. Okay, so unchangeable means the variable can only be initialized one time. It can only be assigned. You can only assign one value to the variable, and you cannot reassign it afterwards. Okay. So, for example, let me create a new class named constants. Here, let's create some variables this time. Suppose that the pi's value is 3.14, right? So here I declare this pi, this variable named pi, and I assign 3.14 to this variable. Okay. And if I don't make this variable constant, if I don't make it final, that means pi later on it can be assigned, it can be reassigned. For example, I can assign 4.5 to the pi's value. Okay. So when I print this pi now, you see it is printing 4.5. But in the mathematics, the value of pi is 3.14. It should not change. So to make sure that this variable becomes unchangeable, I could use final keyword. I could give the final keyword before the declaration of this variable. So if I declare this variable as final, next time when you try to reassign this variable, it can only be initialized once. If you try to reassign this variable, it will give you this compiler because final variables cannot be reassigned. Okay. And when you declare any variable as final, one more recommendation in Java is the variable name should be all uppercase. Okay. That's the naming rules for the final variables. Any final variables in Java are all in uppercase. So let's follow the same pattern. Okay, that's it. This is all what we have covered today in this recording. In the next recording, we will be talking about the identifier and naming rules in Java. Thank you so much. See you all in the next video.